U.S. Army Second Lieutenant Karan Nazario filed a lawsuit this month, claiming his rights were violated. The lawsuit, first obtained by the Washington Post, says Nazario is asking for at least $1 million in damages and for the court to rule his constitutional rights were violated. Nazario's lawsuit claimed he was originally pulled over for not having a rear license plate, but video shows he had a temporary plate in the car window.
This gentleman was pulled over because he don't have a proper display of his license and registration, which is the license plate, which has the registration and license of the vehicle. He doesn't have it properly displayed right here at the rear of the vehicle like he's supposed to.
Video shows he had a temporary plate in the car window.
Virginia Law 46.2-715, display of license plates. License plates assigned to a motor vehicle other than a moped, motorcycle, autocycle, tractor, truck, trailer, or semi-trailer, or to persons licensed as motor vehicle dealers or transporters of unladen vehicles, shall be attached to the front and rear of the vehicle. Right there tells you it should have been in the spot of the license plate, not in the rear window. So again, back to the fact that this is probable cause from the beginning. And I'm not saying that Nazario deserved a ticket for it, I'm just saying it was probable cause for a stop.
Later, they found out that it was in the top window, but it's still against the law because it has to be visible from the rear and has to be lit where a police officer can see it and easily identify it. So he is riding, and a legal traffic stop is being conducted. He never stopped for a mile and a half, according to the police officer on his body-worn camera. He drove a mile and a half without stopping at all. He never stopped for a mile and a half while they have lights and sirens on him. It necessitates this to be a high-risk stop because now you don't know why this person don't have a license plate on, and you don't know why they're refusing to stop after being lit up by a patrol vehicle. So they do what we call a high-risk stop. You pull them at gunpoint, and then you give them commands because now this has turned into from a simple traffic stop to something that could be a little more serious.
So let's go all the way back to square one, okay? I turned around on you at Food Line. I actually came out of Cost Plus, and I came up behind you.
I saw you before you turned.
And you had no tags displayed. I see it, but per the law, it has to be in the license plate bracket. I understand it's paper, and I understand why it's there.
Yes.
But at that time, I had no idea. I didn't know that you had a vehicle registration until I approached your car.
Officer Crocker wrote in his report that he believed Nazario was eluding police and called it a high-risk traffic stop. Wonder why, though? Let's take a look.
Get out of the car!
What's going on?
Get out of the car now!
What's going on?
What's going on is you're fixing to ride the lightning, son.
Get out the car!
You received an order. Obey it.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, you should be. Get out. Back up.
Whoa, hold on.
Daniel.
What's going? Hold on. My door.
AO4 OC is deployed.
Get out of the car and get on the ground now. You're going to get it again.
I don't even want to reach my seat.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
Nazario heard they're saying he didn't want to reach for a seatbelt. One of the reasons why is because sometimes when somebody reaches into their car, they think they're reaching for a gun.
Driver, roll the window down.
Felony traffic stop.
Put your hands out the window. Put your hands out the window. Turn the vehicle off. Put your hands out the window.
I can't tell.
Put your hands out the window and turn the vehicle off.
Clear commands to me. Stevie Wonder can see the words coming out of his mouth.
Put your hands out the window.
It's very, y'all can hear it, I can hear it.
He's not complying, Judge.
He is, while he's giving these commands, this gentleman is setting his phone up to in my personal opinion, to be a martyr. He didn't set his phone up, but not listening to commands.
Come around your side.
Let me see your hands. How many occupants are in the vehicle?
What's going on?
How many occupants are in your vehicle?
It's only myself. Why are your weapons drawn? What's going on?
Open the door slowly and step out. Open the door.
I'm not getting out the vehicle. What's going on?
Get out the car. Open the door slowly and get out.
What's going on?
Get out of the car.
door, get out the car!
Hold still, hold. Keep your hands outside the window. Keep your hands outside the window.
My hands are right here. What's going on?
Get out of the car now.
Get out of the car!
What's
now.
going on?
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car now.
I'm serving this country and this is how I'm treated?
Yo, what? Guess what? I'm a veteran too. I'm gonna obey.
That's
Get
not-
out of the car.
What's going on?
Get out of the car now.
What's going on?
What's going on? You're fixing to ride the lightning, son.
I'm sorry, what?
Get out of the car now.
What's going
Get
on?
out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Sir, just get out the car. Work with us and we'll talk to you. Get out the car.
You received an order. Obey it.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, you
ask
should
what's
be.
going-
Get out.
What's
Get
going
out.
on? What
Get
did
out
I
the
do?
car.
Get out now.
I have not committed any crimes.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest
For a traffic-
You're being detained. Okay, you're being detained for
For a
obstruction of justice.
traffic violation, I do not have to get out the vehicle. You haven't even told
Really?
me why I'm being stopped.
Really?
Get your
Get,
hands.
get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me,
Get out
please. Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me.
Not
Get
a
your
problem.
hands off me.
Back up,
I
Daniel.
didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir,
Get out of the car
Don't do
now.
that.
Hey, sir,
Get out of
Don't
the
do
car
that.
now.
Don't do.
look,
I'm trying to talk
get out.
to you.
Okay.
I'm trying to
I'm gonna
talk.
talk to
Get
you.
out.
Just get out of my
Relax.
car.
Can you please
Get out.
relax? Can
Get
you
out.
please relax?
Get out of the car right
I-
now.
This
Now.
is not how you treat a vet. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're gonna treat me.
Back up, Daniel.
I didn't do
Back
anything.
up.
Whoa, hold on.
Hey,
What's going? Hold on. Watch it.
Air 4 OCs deployed. Get out of the car. Get out of the car now.
That's fucked up. That's fucked
Get out of
up.
the car now.
Sir, just get out the car.
I'm trying to breathe. Ugh,
Get out of the car now.
that's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Get out of the car and get on the ground now. You're gonna get it.
I don't even want to reach my seatbelt. Can you?
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
Can you please?
Get out of the car now. Listen. Take off your seatbelt and get out of the car.
Look, I'm just gonna please.
You're gonna do what you're told. Get out of the car.
Look,
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the
Look.
Take your seatbelt off.
look, my hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the
My
car.
hands are out.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
My hands are out. Please. Please. Look. This is really messed up. My dog is in the back. My dog is choking right
Get
now.
out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist corporal, or are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. You made this way more difficult than it had to be if you just complied. Get out of the car.
I'm reaching for my seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
This escalated because there was so much fear involved from the get-go, fear that didn't need to be there.
As a 6'4" white
And they
man
pepper sprayed him.
from the South, if I were in the lieutenant's position and I had a police officer this out of control, and I was showing my hands, showing my arms outside of the window, and I stated that I was afraid to get out of the car, and for good reason,
not show
because
your
this
hands.
officer was so amped up, out of control, crazy. Then if I were afraid being in that position, what about a black man who has seen time and again throughout his life that black men especially are treated differently than other Americans when it comes to being stopped in a car? He did everything correctly. He was fearful for good reason. So what did he do? He drove to a well-lit area
Hopefully
where
with
everybody
cameras.
could see, hoping that cameras were there. He wanted to make sure that everybody saw everything that happened. They drew their guns on a guy, on a lieutenant, for God's sakes, a lieutenant serving our country, protecting us every day. A lieutenant in uniform who put his hands outside of the car and continued to be told to show his hands, but get out of the car at the same time.
And normally when people decide that they don't want to stop for the police, the traffic stop then becomes what's called a felony traffic stop. And that means you are called out of your vehicle, hands up, loud verbal commands, at gunpoint, put on the ground, and handcuffed until we figure out what's going on. Another aspect I have seen that people are up in arms about is that the officers had no right to call or demand or order Lieutenant Nazario to get out of his vehicle. This is complete BS. And it's backed by the U.S. Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly said that officers have the authority to call out the driver and passenger from the vehicle until the traffic stop is over. This is covered by Maryland versus Wilson and Pennsylvania versus Mims. So the fact that officers had their guns out or taser out, whatever the case may be, and they were demanding that Lieutenant Nazario step out of the vehicle, and his best response is what's going on over and over and over again, he was clearly violating U.S. Supreme Court case law. It really doesn't get any more cut and dry than that. If I am ordering somebody to get out of their vehicle and they are not complying, I am legally allowed to use force to remove that person from their vehicle. And it's sad because you see headlines for this story automatically jump into two different categories. The fact that he is considered a minority and the fact that he is a military member. This fits the news agenda. The problem lies in today's modern entitlement attitude where people think cops have no right to pull people out of their vehicles. And that's not true. They obviously don't know their case law.
He still don't put his hands out the window. One hand is out, the other one is sitting right here on the thing. Look at the smug on his face because he's not listening to what they're telling him. This is not the way you conduct yourself as a second lieutenant in the military, as a citizen in general, but as a person that's a second lieutenant in the military, you are a disgrace for acting this way.
Talk about that. So getting pulled over, he didn't have tags. It turns out he did have tags. It was temporary tags. It's super clear. He had perfectly legitimate temporary tags and that you either saw or didn't see, and you wanted to pull him over because he was a black man in a nice looking car. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real.
Niggas love to keep it real. Real dumb.
You know, if it happened to a white right winger, they would be enraged. They would be enraged. How dare you treat me like this? I have my rights. When a white right winger says that, they feel perfectly emboldened to say it.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
It's called resisting arrest.
This is disgusting. The governor and the police officers, the people that lead the police officers in this area, in this state, need to figure out how the hell this happened. This is sickening.
It's called resisting arrest.
It's very difficult for black folk in this moment to give police officers the benefit of the doubt that they're going to treat us like human beings. Right, so here we have this moment where as soon as you pull into the lighted gas station, Joe, you see that he has a temporary tag in his window. So the very reason for the stop is no longer obtains. And then you get out with your guns pointed, and you end up in this situation where this lieutenant is on the ground weeping.
He was given lawful commands to get out of his vehicle, and under U.S. Supreme Court case law, he refused to do so. So force was exerted on him. That is legal. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care what you think about the situation. That is the fact.
Everybody talks about de-escalation. They started at the highest level of escalation, which is police presence, and they're holding a gun. This officer holstered his gun. He de-escalated. Now they've gotten a little closer to him. They don't feel that he's a threat, a deadly threat to them immediately. He holsters his gun. That's a de-escalation of force. This gentleman right here started with a gun, went to taser. That's a de-escalation of force from lethal force to a taser, which is less lethal. Then he went from a taser to pepper spray. He de-escalated his amount of force that he used. Pepper spray and hard hand control is a de-escalation from showing up on the scene with a gun pointed, giving commands.
Do you ever worry that a police officer will kill your child because of air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror?
That he was afraid to get out of the car.
It's called resisting arrest.
He showed his hands. He went to a well-lit area. He did everything that someone who got pulled over, who was afraid of a police officer who was jacked up and out of control, was afraid that if he got out, he was going to end up dead, just like George Floyd.
For everybody that's trying to say this was about race, he had no idea who this guy was at nighttime driving with tinted windows, okay? This had nothing to do with race. Let's continue.
I was too busy dealing with you to deal with the tag. Want me to wipe your eyes?
They're being nice to him.
So, look, all this was going to be was, hey man, I stopped you. You didn't have a tag. You got your driver's license. I'd have ran you, and you'd have been on your way. Okay? What would have been a 2-minute traffic stop turned into all this.
True. They'd have stopped him. It's nothing really that big about this. They'd have pulled him over because they saw he didn't have a display tag. The guy's in full uniform. All he would have done is ran his name, made sure that it was his car, and in fact, he was who he said he was, and he would have been on his way. The officers, I think they had every right to do a high-risk stop because he did not stop. They gave him consistent commands. I think that at some point, they didn't need to talk over each other. Now, everybody's emotions are heightened because you never know when it's your time and when somebody's going to crack up on you. So, of course, these police officers are going to be, intense with him. They're not going to kiss your rear end and play pansy with you. They're going to be intense. And when everything calms down, they'll calm down.
It's called resisting arrest.